We back. I'm here with OWO Bot, and I'm just doing a quick video today, which is actually not that unusual, to be fair, and that's going to be about Rune. Rune, the weapon here, Rune of the Forgotten, as you can see. I get a few people asking me, what is Rune, how do you get it? The long story short is, you can't! Yay! Congratulations! But I'm going to explain what the hell is going on with this weird weapon that you probably don't have if you are unaware. Because for a lot of new players, it is just kind of mystical. If you know what it is, you are probably just generally kind of bored of its existence. But yeah, there you go, Rune. So, what is Rune? We'll start by having a look at what its actual effect is. You can see I indeed do have a rune. I have an uncommon rune, which has exactly 40% quality. This is not a great rune in my opinion. I would say runes start getting good around epic. If you've got like an epic rune or above, you should definitely be using it because it is really good. But lower rarities, it's kind of debatable. It depends, obviously, on what kind of team you're trying to make. But Rune is a bit of a unique weapon. You can see that it has no passive, for instance. The only weapon to have no passive, in fact. And its description, increase all stats by, my one is 9%. That depends on the rarity of the rune. And all your physical attacks do 65% strength and 65% magic as true damage. This weapon does not have an active ability, does not have a passive, does not have a weapon cost. It does not really do anything. It just gives you a bit of a buff, and it means that your stats do true damage instead. Now, true damage is good because it ignores things like defense and effects and stuff like that, so the damage actually goes through. So in a lot of cases, when you're going up against stereotypical teams with a tank and with a shield and like a spirit staff and all that stuff, that true damage is going to do a lot more damage than just a regular bow or something, even though it's only doing 65% of your stats each time. Also, of course, it does give you the buff, in this case 9%, which is to all stats, and that's kind of nice as well. You're going to want to use a rune on an animal with a lot of stats, so probably a hidden animal. It's normally used with either lizard, snake or monkey because it does physical attack as strength and magic combined. Monkey works with it. If you are not aware, Monkey has split stats between attack and magic, which makes him just in general a pretty bad animal in a team, because you kind of want to pick one and go for it. But because it combines the two in Rune, that makes Monkey usable with Rune. Woo! But yeah, you can also use like Snake or Lizard, which just have one attack stat. And the hidden animals have the most stats in the game overall, so that 9% makes a big difference. Anyway, yeah, Rune in general is pretty good. As for a single target attacker, it's probably going to do more damage than a lot of other weapons. Of course, it depends on the level you're at and the team you're making. But in general, if you have a rune, using it is maybe a good idea. I've been pestered into using mine enough times, and so now I do. But I stand by what I said, uncommon one not being as good. If you've got epic or above, it's pretty obvious you should use it. But the question on everyone's mind is, how do you get them? You may have opened hundreds of weapon crates and not found a rune yet. Are you just unlucky? The answer is no. The reason is you simply can't get them anymore. Runes were never a part of crates. They were given away as rewards for end of season, and to explain this we have to go back to 2018. When the battles looked something like this. As you can see, it's 1-on-1 animals now instead of 3-on-3. We have little slots here for food, which you can put in that gives buffs. So for example, the eggplants here I think gave you 5 extra attack each. And basically there was no weapons. Each animal just did a random number of damage between 0 and their attack stat each turn to the enemy. So you can see me with my boar here was certainly not a tank back in the day, much more of an attacker. It didn't have that much health, but it had a lot of attack, and that's why I went with the eggplants, buffing attack. Probably should have done the opposite really, but I just thought it would be fun to go with attack. Of course, If you take an average between 0 and 340, you get about, what even is that, 170? So on average, my boar is doing 170 damage per turn, which is more stats than most animals that I was going up against had. So I was pretty much one-shotting everyone and getting reasonable streaks. 36, of course, nowadays is not too much of a streak, but given that it was completely RNG based back then, certainly not bad. Of course, I will not claim that my level 30 boar was an excellent pet. I could have done better than that, I'm sure, but I'm pretty sure I hit a streak of around 500 back in the day, so that's not bad. And this is actually what matters, these streak leaderboards. The higher up you are on the streak leaderboard, the better rune you were given when they changed the battling. Because, of course, eventually they changed it from this battling to the battling we know today with weapons and such, and at that point, what Scoot did is he reset all of the levels, he added all the weapons and weapon crates and all the rest of it, changed up the teams, and then said for anyone that had really high streaks on the streak leaderboard, you now, well, it might have been animal levels actually, I can't remember which leaderboard it was. I thought it was streaks, but I just realised it might have been animal levels. Anyway, however high you are up on the leaderboard, you get a rune. And so I think it was like the top 1,000 people or something got an uncommon rune, which is what I have. Top 10,000 maybe got a common one, and then if you were first on the leaderboard, you got the fabled rune, and that person deleted their account, so big sad. But yeah, there you go. That's how you got it, and that's how I got mine. Now, the date that this happened was sometime February 2019. I can't remember the exact date, but this is why you pretty much had to be playing back in 2018 in order to get the rune, because you had to be reasonably high up on the leaderboard in February 2019. This means that anyone playing after that point, I'm afraid you just can't get the rune. It is not a simple have to be lucky in the weapon crates. There is no secret method. You just have to be playing in 2018. But do not feel too bad, because most people that even got a rune don't use it, don't use the bot anymore. I mean, I've got my level 50 animals that I've just started using my rune on, and that's not insane levels really. People have level 70 animals nowadays, so I'm not doing insanely well with it. And if you really want to try hard on the bot, you want to go for levels, and you'll be able to beat me anyway. That applies to most people. Of course, there are people here or there that have really good runes and really good teams, really high levels, and they use them well. And you'll probably find that they are quite high up on the streak leaderboards because of the way that the synergy in their team works. But for the most part, you just shouldn't be too concerned about rune. It doesn't make a huge amount of difference nowadays, and like I say, most people that have one don't use the bot anymore, so you probably won't see it go past too often. That's all I've got to say today though. That's basically it. Hope you have fun looking for other weapons that are not runes. There's plenty other weapons out there, plenty other teams to make. And I'll end this video here. Bye!